"Don't tread on me" flag wasn't associated with assholes. Could be perfect for this video. Blue Jays win 6-4 in the third game of this much ballyhooed 4-game series in New York to start the season. So ballyhooed. Lots of good and lots of bad to get to in this one, so let's get right to it. Jose Barrios versus Garrett Cole in the matchup of aces who did not have great starts in their first games. And Garrett Cole does little to allay the fears of Yankee fans as he gets touched up in the first inning. After a couple quick outs, who else but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with an absolute bomb to dead center field. Now, I want to point out that Aaron Hicks almost makes the play of the year on this ball. He times his leap at the wall perfectly and catches the ball for like a second. It squeaks out of his glove and over the wall for a home run. And you gotta feel for Hicks there, because that play is going on SportsCenter one way or another. It's just you're either a guy who made a spectacular catch or a guy who couldn't quite make a spectacular catch. And in this case, he's the latter. 1-0 Jays. Barrios lives up to his half of the billing as he cruises through the first 2 innings against the Yankees. Cole settles in as well, looking like his usual dominant self, until we get to the third inning. With 2 outs, Bo Bichette finally is able to reach an outside curveball, which he's been flailing at these last couple of games, and pokes a classic Bo Bichette double to the right side, bringing Vlad up for his second shot and a chance to demonstrate one of the most remarkable pieces of hitting I think I've ever seen. Cole throws what should be a devastating pitch, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball with movement curling inside to a right-handed hitter. As it reaches the plate, it's about 2 feet to the inside of the plate, meaning you can't hit that. Vlad says, "Oh, what was that? I wasn't listening." And absolutely crushes this pitch into the left center field bleachers. Now, I can't overemphasize here. You can't hit that pitch. And if you do hit that pitch, it's going to be a little nubber up the third base line or immediately gobbled up by the third base. You don't hit that pitch for a home run. You can't do that. But you know who can do that? Vlad can do that, apparently. So it's 3-0 Blue Jays, and Vlad looks good in this one, I'd say. Now, for a little bit more context on that home run, I'm going to take you back to the second inning real quick. Aaron Hicks, there's that name again, grounds the ball to the right side. Bo, maybe inadvisedly, cuts in front of Espinal to try to make the play. He makes an off-balance throw to first, forcing Vlad to contort into an irregular position to try to catch it. That irregular position featured his right hand on the base path behind the base. And as is the way with such unfortunate things, Hicks kind of spikes his hand on the way by. Nothing deliberate about it, just kind of an unfortunate circumstance, but youch! Appears to get his spike right there on Vlad's finger, and he is cut and he is bleeding pretty bad. To the point where he's wiping like a big spot of blood on his pants. Like, it doesn't look good. I immediately thought, wow, he's gonna have to leave the game and maybe miss some time. They patched him up real quick and he stayed in the game. A testament to Vlad's toughness and determination for sure. And then he turns around the next inning and hits this impossible home run. It's game 6. I know this. I know we have another 156 games to go. I know we have 16 more games against the Yankees to go. But if there's a list of early MVP candidates out there, top of the list for me has got to be Vlad. Guardians fans, don't at me about Steven Kwan. He's had a nice run, but let's calm down. If you want to at me about Jose Ramirez, I will entertain that. That guy is on fire. Anyway, back to this game. Barrios is absolutely cruising through 4. Then he gets to the 5th and things kind of turn on a dime. After striking out Higashioka, the top of the Yankees lineup comes up for the 3rd time. And that's kind of been ominous for Barrios throughout his time with the Blue Jays. His first 2 runs through the order are generally pretty solid. 3rd one, a little more dicey. And that ends up being the case here too, as he gives up back-to-back bombs to Rizzo and Judge in the 5th inning. And I mean bombs. They crushed these things. On back-to-back pitches, no less. Like, I can't feel good. Then he gives up a hard-hit double to Donaldson, and it kind of looks like things are starting to snowball. Gallo does his thing, where it's either a home run or an out. In this case, it was an out. A deep drive to center field that put Springer all the way back to the warning track. Ooh. And DJ LeMahieu completes the picture of Barrios kind of losing it with a sharply hit double that cashes in Donaldson. This game is tied. Barrios went from looking real good to real not good in a hurry, and things are looking a little questionable in this one. Then Gleyber Torres kind of like loops one in that null zone between second base and center field. Springer gets a bad read on it, takes a couple steps back before trying to charge in and make up for it. There's no way he was going to get there, but don't worry, sports fans. The Blue Jays employ a young man named Santiago Espinal. Didn't do it with the bat today, but did it with the glove as he's able to secure an awkward looping ball as a basket catch, preventing probably another run from scoring. Barrios escapes the fifth, barely, but the game is tied. Things get worse for the Blue Jays in the sixth inning. After Vlad doubles, because of course Vlad doubles, 3 extra base hits on the night so far if you're counting, and I know you are, Teo comes up and looks kind of uncomfortable over the course of the at-bat, to the point where Charlie Montoya comes out to the top step, asking him verbally, hey man, are you okay? I think I should take you out. Like he took a step on the field and was about to come out there. Teo waves him off, says he's fine, and Charlie believes him and lets him go. The next swing, Teo grounds feebly to the right side, but more distressingly, comes up lame. Holding his side, can't even really run down the first base line. That is a disaster. And this is a tough situation for a manager because on the one hand, you want to believe your players. Your player is the one who knows how he's feeling the best. The player is the one who will tell you whether they can continue or not. Charlie chose to believe his player, and I can understand that. But on the other hand, your eye test and presumably your trainer are there telling you, man, the heat does not look right. Rather than giving him the chance to exacerbate what could at that point be a minor injury and turn it into a major one, shouldn't Charlie have just kind of come out there mid-at-bat and say, okay, I think we've seen enough from you tonight? That's a tough one. That's a tough situation. I think either way, you're going to have people doubting your decision. There's no clear-cut right answer there. Now let's remember, this is a tie game. The go-ahead run is on second base, and Teo's a 2-time Silver Slugger winner. He's one of the big bats in the lineup. He's the guy you want to hit in that situation. If you decide to pull him and it turns out he's fine and the run doesn't score and you lose that game, this team knows intimately what it's like to miss the playoffs by 1 game. What if this was the one? It's a high-pressure decision. I'm not sure I would have made the same choice Charlie did, but I can totally understand it, and I understand that there's no real right answer in that situation. Anyway, worst-case scenario for the Blue Jays, Jansen's already down after his hot start, and Teo's a big bat to take out of the lineup. If he's out for days or weeks, that's not great. It's not like the team doesn't have hitters, but, if Vlad wanted to continue going nuclear, this would be a great time for that. We go to the 6th, and Barrios' night is done. He's the ace. They gave him a 7-year extension, and we've had 1 game where he went 1/3 of an inning, and now this game where he went 5 innings. Something not stretched out yet. Yeah, I know, I've said that a few times. But this is one where maybe you wanted a slightly better effort from Barrios. Yeah, we're facing the Yankees. Okay, I think we still get a pass here, but I would like to see a stronger performance for his 3rd and 4th starts, maybe, pretty please, with Sugar on top. He's replaced by Adam Cimber, who is just rock solid right now, and pretty much has been for his whole Blue Jays tenure. It's just so comforting having a guy like that in the bullpen where you come out and be like, oh, few minutes with no problems. Well, I'm really looking forward to that. Especially after seeing that thing happen with Teo. I could have used a little bit of a security blanket right at that moment, not gonna lie, and Cimber is the guy. So thanks for that, Charlie. Cimber does the thing that he so often does. Elicit weak contact. 3 straight ground ball outs and we're on to the 7th. Alejandro Kirk starts the inning off with a hard-fought walk. Went down 0-2, came all the way back to walk. A really nice at-bat. He's having a hard time putting the bat to the ball, so getting on base any other way will be fine. I'll take it. Chapman pops out, and then it's Raimel Tapia. With the addition of Bradley Zimmer and that trade for Anthony Castro right at the end of spring training, I kind of look at Tapia and what is it you say you do here? Zimmer seems like Tapia again, but is a first rounder and probably has a lot more in the tank and potential than Tapia does. Whereas Tapia is a ground ball machine who plays pretty good defense, I guess. I believe there's some talent there. He's been pretty close to a 300 hitter and a kind of a 320, 330 on base guy. And he's had a slow start. I don't think he's got a hit yet, but you can't really hold that against him. Again, this is game 6. But I gotta say, so far I'm not sold. With the number of base runners that this team gets, having a ground ball machine is just not ideal. I don't care how fast he is. This is not a get him over, get him in kind of team. This is a team that wants to get 2 guys on and then put one in the seats. And if Tapia's not a guy who's going to get on, I don't really see what kind of value he has. Maybe he'll pick it up. Maybe he will. Anyway, in this particular case, he gets on by that rarest of methods, catcher interference, which is hilarious because they traded Gary Sanchez away because he kept doing stuff like this, and now Higashioka is picking right back up where he left off. Listen, Yankees catchers as a whole, you want to keep reaching out for balls and hitting the bats of Blue Jay hitters? Go right ahead, man. Not going to stop you. Not going to get in the way of that. That's a great trend. Espinal hits into a fielder's choice to make it 1st and 3rd with 2 out. He doesn't get to be Espinal for a fielder's choice. Sorry, buddy. There's got to be standards. Bringing up your friend and mine, George Springer. I honestly love how much Springer's been tormenting Yankees fans in this series. They've been giving him the business every time he stepped to the plate, and he's by and large kind of shoved it in their collective faces, and I'm here for it. And he does it again with an RBI base hit to give the Blue Jays a 4-3 lead. Super clutch, George, do this all day. This wasn't the classic George Springer hit it to the moon kind of situation, but it didn't have to be. A single will get it done, and it does in this case. The Jays take the lead 4-3. Replacing Cimber in the 7th is Jimmy Garcia. This guy is a revelation. One more indication that Ross Atkins knows what he's doing a little bit. I love his approach. I love his demeanor. He attacks you. He gives you nothing. It's refreshing. I think most teams in the major leagues can't really say they have 3 or 4 really reliable arms in their bullpen that they know are going to produce results. The Jays do, and I think that is an X factor that doesn't get talked about enough by anyone who isn't me. Garcia is a big get for this bullpen. He's a big weapon out there, and he showed it again today with a quick 1-2-3 inning. Leading off the 8th is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's so beautiful. He's a god. Jonathan Loaisiga, who pitched last night and kind of looked a little bit tired, didn't quite have his A-plus stuff, puts a fastball in the middle of the plate, and Vlad puts that fastball into the upper deck in left field. And this is another one of those classic Vladimir Guerrero laser beam home runs. This thing is an absolute bullet. I think I said it was 114 miles off the bat, and that's accurate. Another solo shot gives the Jays a 5-3 advantage. This man is a machine. If Teo's going down for an extended period of time, and it kind of looks like he is, a red-hot Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will pick up a lot of that slack. So let's find a way to feel good about that. And yeah, okay, I'm really trying to feel better about the Teo situation. I really think that's going to be a big problem. Refreshingly, though, the Blue Jays are not done. Lourdes Gurriel singles, out-machined Tyler Heineman, who has replaced Alejandro Kirk behind the plate after Kirk was lifted for a pinch runner earlier, uses his powers for good to advance Gurriel to second base with a bunt. When was the last time the Blue Jays did a sacrifice bunt? I honestly don't know. And there's a reason for that, because they suck and no one should reach for that. If you're employing out machines whose only use is to use outs for advancing runners, you should stop employing out machines. But I digress. Matt Chapman comes through with an RBI single with 2 out to extend the Blue Jays lead to 6-3 at this point. Driving in runs with 2 outs was a story all evening, and I can't imagine that feels good for Yankees pitchers. It's also the low-key skill that the Blue Jays have had since the start of last year. It doesn't seem like something that should be repeatable, but for the Jays, it is. Whatever kind of clutch gene, whatever kind of choke up the bat, whatever kind of cliche reason you want to give, the Blue Jays are great at driving in runs with 2 outs, and it's a big weapon for them. It's a big plus. 8th inning, Garcia gives way to Richards, who's been pitching a lot in the early going. And he looks better than he did in his last outing. His fastball has more command on it, and he's actually able to finish his breaking balls close enough to the zone to elicit swing and miss. So, that's pretty good. On the downside, Gleyber Torres hits what should be a double off the right center field wall. But because we're in the New York Yankees children's playground, it's a home run just over into the first row, and bruh. I think they've had about 5 of these in the early going, where they just put it exactly far enough to get over the right field wall. Well, the answer might be, well, the Jays should do it too, right? They get a chance to hit in the same ballpark. Why can't they do it? This is a bit of a tangential rant, but I'm doing it anyway. If there's one thing that this whole thing with shifts and how much it's killed careers and caused difficulties for hitters and how pernicious it is, to the point where Major League Baseball wants to ban it next year, the one lesson that I take away from it is, hitting is hard. Balls are coming at you at 98 miles an hour. You have to get ready. And in that time while you're getting ready, you have to discern between a 4-seam fastball, a 2-seam fastball, a cut fastball, a changeup that has the same arm slot and looks exactly the same as a fastball until it gets about halfway to you. And in that time, you have to make the decision to swing or not. And then you have to try to hit the ball once you've committed to swing. Hitting the baseball is impossible. Telling guys, just try to hit it over there next time. No, trying to hit it all is very, very difficult. Doing it in the way that they've been doing it successfully for their entire careers is the only way you're going to survive unless you are the elite of the elite. Like Bryce Harper said the other day, I don't know why guys don't just hit it over there. If you can't do that, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, you're Bryce Harper, dude. You know how many guys are Bryce Harper? One guy is Bryce Harper. And then there's one Vladimir Guerrero. There's maybe, honestly, like 15 or 20 guys who maybe could adjust their hitting style to the point where they can hit against the shift reliably. Anthony Rizzo is an extremely accomplished hitter. He's got great numbers across the board. He's won a championship. He's made a lot of money, mostly as a hitter. In order to beat the shift, you know what he has to do? Little pop-up bunts. And that doesn't even work most of the time. He got one of those today, turned into a single because he didn't see where the ball was. But he has to like do these kind of like weird stunts to try to hit against the shift. And it's the same argument for people who say, oh, you should try to hit the ball up in the air to right field. That way you can, take advantage of the Yankee short porch. No. If you're a guy who often hits the ball with power to right center field, congratulations, Yankee Stadium is going to inflate your numbers. See? Aaron Judge. Aaron didn't learn to hit for Yankee Stadium. He always did that. One of the reasons why the Yankees loved him so much is because he was going to play half his games at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees have sought out talent that could take advantage of their joke ballpark. Was DJ LeMahieu worth all the money they paid him? Maybe not, but he was to the Yankees because he gets to hit in that joke ballpark. Giancarlo Stanton, absolutely ditto. One of the reasons why Florida wanted to get rid of Stanton so badly, in addition to the fact that they have maybe 10 cents to their name, is that they play in this gigantic ballpark that was suppressing his value. He wasn't producing nearly as much as you would want for a guy who's getting paid like he is. Comes to New York, all of a sudden his numbers get inflated all to hell. I wonder why that could be. You would love the Blue Jays to be able to hit situationally to wherever they happen to be playing. I'm sure every team would like that. But there's a reason why guys like Ryan Howard, who was on a Hall of Fame track before the shift hit him, is all of a sudden out of baseball 3 years later. Is it because Ryan Howard is a bad hitter? No, it's because to hit at the major league level, you pretty much do what you're good at and hope that it works out. Trying to reinvent the wheel when you're like 33 years old and already won a World Series, no one's going to do that. The Yankees' joke ballpark is an advantage for their lineup deliberately. They built the lineup to hit at that stadium. So whenever you play the Yankees in New York, you can get a lot of situations like what happened tonight, where Gleyber Torres hits a perfectly reasonable double to the right field gap that turns into a home run because of his joke ballpark. End of rant, I'm done. Anyway, it's 6-4 going into the ninth. A relatively uneventful top of the ninth. Jordan Romano comes in to pick up the save, and outside of Rizzo doing his weird pop-bunt single thing, the only major event of note was Josh Donaldson, representing the last out of the game, absolutely scorches a liner to the right side. And who's there to greet it but Vladimir Guerrero Jr., having an absolute whale of a game, spearing that ball with a nice catch to end it. Oh, that's appropriate. I don't know how much wins above replacement you can get in one game, but for Vlad, he should get at least one whole win above replacement right there. And if it's any less than that, I riot. Anyway, Vlad was a one-man wrecking crew in this game. He looked absolutely fabulous. The bullpen, once again, looked solid all the way through. And because the bullpen is so deep, I don't even think you're really overworking these guys too much. If you needed them, I'll bet Garcia and Simber will be ready to go again tomorrow, and Romano seems to have no problem pitching on back-to-back nights, so I think we're in good shape there. But I mean, one of the things that I love about this team so much is its depth, and that is going to be tested early. Jansen going down was not ideal. Losing Teo at the same time, yeah, okay. We'll be seeing more of Raimel Tapia. We'll be seeing more of Bradley Zimmer. I guess we're going to find out what he's got. And it would be ideal if we could cycle George into the DH spot every once in a while. I'm not sure you can really do that at this point without really watering down the lineup. Bit of a tough situation to be in, but at the end of the day, a win's a win. Jays move to 4-2 and have a chance to win the series tomorrow night with Kevin Gossman on the mound. Feeling pretty good about that. I'm also really excited to see what Severino has in the tank. It's been about 3 years since I've seen him pitch. I remember him as being absolutely electric and a real problem. If he's that again, yeah, that might be another low-scoring affair. Then again, Vladimir Guerrero is a one-man wrecking crew, so I'm saying 8-1 Jays final. I'm not actually saying that. That was mostly a joke. Please don't hurt me, baseball gods. Last thing I want to say, Kevin Biggio came in to run for Kirk in this game. That was his only real appearance in the game. He did not get an at-bat. This would be a wonderful time for him to remember how to hit a baseball. One of the reasons why our depth feels so tested right now is a lot of guys are sneaky cold right now. Chapman had an RBI base hit tonight. Bo had a double, but between those two hits for the last 3 games, they've kind of been flailing and striking out a lot. A lot of big holes in their swing right now. Lourdes too, he's picked up a couple of hits and they've been pretty key. I think he's scored both times he's gotten on base in this series, but he's only gotten on base a couple times in this series. Some of our more reliable bats going back to being reliable would be a big help right now. But in the meantime, it's the Vladimir Guerrero show, like it always is. Okay, that's it. I'm done for this one. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, like and subscribe, etc., etc. We'll see you tomorrow night for the 4th and final game of this series, and we'll be able to take a look at where the Jays are, how they're trending, what the situation is like for the team after this, dare I say, important series in New York. Thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow night.